walked around the floor here. You talked to some of the startups. You probably you mentioned you walked around the floor, the other floor, the big convention center. What's kind of caught your eyes, some of the trends or some of the startups that you think are most interesting so far?
Well, for me, I mean, it's great to see a lot of these Kickstarter successes and Indiegogo successes here in the flesh. I mean, we've seen them on those sites, we've seen videos of them, we've seen them on YouTube, and of course on Facebook and lots of other places. So it's good to see a lot of those products here on the show floor for the first time, and I think that's really an encouraging step. I mean, we're seeing larger companies moving away from CES and launching their own, having their own product events. RIM having their BlackBerry 10 launch in a couple of weeks here, things like that. But it seems like there are more than enough small companies and a lot of innovation that's helping to kind of fill those gaps. And so, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff out there. I think that's fantastic.
I would agree. I think a lot of the Kickstarter projects and other crowdfunding sites has been really, really interesting to see. Someone who writes about where consumers tend to shop. Turns out they're really a great source, I think, for people to get in on some of these really interesting products well before you spot it in like a Best Buy. So you really, if you want to be on the cutting edge of things, great source for that. Also very interested in a lot of the health and fitness tech that's coming out, although I almost feel like walking around there's almost too much of it in some areas that I want to see a little more differentiation, something that's really innovative in the area instead of just yet another fitness tracker.
Yeah, I think you're hearing a lot of backlash about CES this year, and I think a lot of the backlash is directed towards these giant booths from these huge companies. And what's most refreshing for me has been to see the smaller companies showing us something we haven't seen before. For me, the most interesting I've seen so far is a fork, like a fork with a computer in it.
It's a happy,
and I think that's
happy?
like
what's it called?
The Happy Fork.
Happy Fork, yeah.
And I think it's gotten a ton of press.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you had told journalists coming in that a fork would be the most covered and sort of the most exciting thing in the show, they would have laughed at you. But that sort of goes back to that, that refreshing, what have we not seen, what's cutting edge?